Cheers, Meg Baker.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me over.
Thanks for coming.
I can't believe I'm finally at the ski chalet in Harbor Springs.
And it snowed for you.
And it snowed. I can't wait to talk about like the evolution of Great Lakes Modern. You have several rental properties, including very unique rentals, including yurts, Chris Craft wooden boat, and also your places focus on this mid-century modern design.
Yes.
In a way, you were like ahead of your time when you bought this place 15 years ago, and kept this, 60s aesthetic.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to start, like, tell me how it all began.
Okay. When I was younger, my mom gave me my great-grandmother's costume jewelry when I was 4 or 5, and I will never forget that day. And I remember just being obsessed with it, and from then on, I loved antiques or anything old, and I made my mom stop at all antique stores on the way up north, visiting up north every summer, and I just wanted to keep that going, and I wanted to collect it, and so I started when I was really young, antiquing and thrift shopping, and I always loved the 60s, 70s era. And I lived in a chalet actually across the road growing up in high school when we moved up to Harbor Springs, and I, since then, always wanted another chalet. And I always wanted it to be mid-century, and I just always loved that stuff.
Yep.
So it's always my...
Where did you live downstate before moving to Harbor Springs?
East Lansing.
East Lansing, okay. So
I always summered up here and skied on the weekends. And
you were obsessed, like you wanted one for your own. This came on the market, and
yep. When I was 22, I moved home from Montana after college and bought this place, and I was gonna move back out west again, and I never left because I love Harbor Springs.
And that's kind of a big, buying a place right afher college. That's
my mom encouraged.
Big deal.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was, like I said, I wasn't even gonna stay here. I was gonna go, go do something else, and I just kind of, and I ended up staying, and this kind of whole thing progressed.
Well, that was my next question. Was this something, this space that you're in now, and we'll touch on how you can like shop the chalet too, and how you've evolved this into an online store with all of your great findings because you're so good at it. So is this something, I guess, that you always wanted to do? And then what did you go to school for?
Oh my gosh, I went to school for environmental studies and biology. It has nothing to do with any of this. No,
That's what happens
exactly.
sometimes.
You never know what your life's gonna entail. So no, it happened so organically. I always wanted to rent my place out, and I just knew there is a market for people that love this sort of living. Like, it's they just appreciate the furniture and the vibe, and I wanted it to be like stepping into the 1960s, like you're at a ski chalet, and I didn't want it to be like a normal rental, where you're just, I want people to walk in and be like, oh my gosh, I remember, having that growing up, and just that nostalgia of it, so it kind of brings people back and, makes them feel kind of
totally.
inside,
I mean, the second I stepped in here, I'm like, well, I could spend the whole afternoon curled up with the book right here. Yeah. I don't want to leave.
Yeah, and I try to, have this place be not just the furniture. It's like everything from books to puzzles to cups to everything, plateware. Nothing is overlooked.
Right.
In here.
Every detail.
It's not just a rental I bought to make money to just buy and have, you can tell. It's not just a place.
It's so specially curated.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'd love to hear any history you can share about this ski chalet. I read in an article that it described the time that it was built in 1969 as skiing's glamorous years, which is so fun to think about. Are there any fun facts about this place that you can share?
Offhand, I'm trying to think, not necessarily, except for the whole neighborhood is chalets, which is really fun for people. And this seems like everybody is very into the chalet look and the feel of that coziness. And so it's just a fun pad to have right next door to Nub's Knob. And right across from Boyne Highlands. That's Boyne Highlands, and then Nub's is on this side. We're a short walk to Nub's Knob.
Wow.
So and it's fun. Like the whole, like I said, you can walk around. There's chalets all over this neighborhood that were built around the same time. And they're all so unique. They're not, that's the fun part about getting this rental or just staying around this area. It's just, they're all so unique.
Yes, 100%.
So, yeah.
So at what point, and you kind of touched on this, did you really realize that there was this market, like, and that people were craving not just any old place to stay at in northern Michigan, but something unique that was kind of more of an experience?
I was just going to say, I want it to be an experience, and that's what I would think was lacking, maybe. And I don't know if I was necessarily doing that on purpose. It's just, I just kept, collecting the stuff and putting it in here and seeing how it does and seeing how, what people like, and so it's definitely fun.
Right. Well, some of the best things that do happen aren't necessarily on purpose. It was something that you wanted. You that you would like it, so you knew other people would want to experience something like this as well. Well, we're going to have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to continue our chat.
Perfect.
So let's talk antiquing. Where do you get your inventory, not only for the chalet, but for the store from?
Everywhere. Buster.
And also, who's this?
This is Buster. This is my little Afro boy. Say hello. Okay, Bobo. All right, goodbye. Okay, good boy.
He can hang.
Okay. Do we need?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I go to all the weird places. That's my tip, is to go to all the weird places. The places that you wouldn't think to go, the places that look a little scary, those are the places you really want to go. No, typically thrift stores all around Michigan. Anytime I travel, antique stores, like I said, you got to go to the weird spots that you wouldn't think that people would go to. Is usually where I find the best stuff.
The best. What's like your best find, and how do you know what to keep? What's the system? Do you keep it here? Do you keep it for yourself? Do you put it in the store? It
depends. This is kind of how this all evolved. So I will try something in here, and then of course, sometimes I'll rearrange the chalet around an entire piece, because it's if you move one piece in here, you got to move everything. So I'll see if it works. If it works, great. And I'll do some styling with it and take some pictures. I'll list it online on my store, or I'll keep it here and just use. Or I'll take it to other properties now and use it and see how it does. Or for photo shoots, I'll do photo shoots here. Some people like to do those here as well. And so it just depends. And sometimes, and sometimes people will want to shop and say, I want to take that lamp home. Can I take it home with me?
Oh my gosh. Where, and before I forget, for those watching, how do you access the store?
I have a website now called Great Lakes Modern.
Okay.
GreatLakesModern.com, and it's GL Modern. Great.
Okay.
Great Lakes Modern, and or Etsy. I have an Etsy shop for Great Lakes Modern as well, is where I started, because my friends started it or they dared me to do it, because I was like, I could never do an Etsy shop, and I've been doing it for the last 6 or 7 years now.
Gosh.
So, yeah.
So what about locally? Can you share any of your secret spots here in Michigan?
No. I'm trying to think of. I mean, I just hit up all the local thrift shops, basically.
And then anywhere you go, like whenever you're on vacation, you pop in to just.
Yeah, anywhere I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're not giving away your spots up here. Where did your style come from?
I don't know. I take that back. I am obsessed with music. I love the Grateful Dead and Widespread Panic and Fish, and so that, seriously, like, that is a big part of the way that I live my life and the lifestyle that is here. And so you can kind of tell through books and stuff that you'll see around the house.
And did you always have a skill in interior decorating? Like,
no, I just like it, and I've always I feel like it should be fun, and I think that so many people take the fun out of it sometimes and get too serious with it, and so that's why I like to have fun stuff around here too, just for people to look at stuff that's fun and unexpected, because it can get a little,
people might want to play it safe.
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Well, this kind of goes into my next question, is if someone wants to like accomplish this look on their own, or even like create their own, start to have their own style and make it fun, like what's a good starting point? Like if, you were just to have a blank slate.
I would say go to your nearest thrift store and see what they have, because they have so much fun stuff, and it's good for the environment too to buy secondhand, which is also nice. But it's kind of fun, because then you can just kind of pick out stuff that you like. And I always like to start like kind of a collection of stuff, and it's kind of fun to go and see what else you can find that goes with a collection or something like that.
Okay, so start with something you
thrift
love,
store,
and then you can kind of build upon that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. I wanted to touch on some of your other rentals. How did you get your hands on a 1945 Chris Craft antique wooden boat? So
it was my partner's grandfather's, and it's from the 1940s, and it's a special boat that he has had in his family his entire life. And
my gosh.
Yeah, and so we're gonna offer rides on that this summer for people to get out on the lake, which it's so hard up here. There's not many options to get people out on the lake if you are visiting. So it's a good option. Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone who might want to like get into the rental game? And I'm like, let me think. And also, I guess, what are some of like the biggest challenges? So I think what I usually do, and I help people with their rentals as well sometimes, is staying in it and seeing what you need. That is my biggest tip, because a lot of times people will buy a place and they think they have everything, but like I've gone in places and like stayed there and been like, no, you need to have this, this, and this. Yes. And so I think living in the space to see what you need is the biggest thing. Right. Whether it's you or you have a friend or someone else staying, or just mention that and say, hey, this is our first time renting. Let us know what you need. And just be very in contact with them, especially when you first start out, to let them know that it's a new rental, and if there's something you need, to let them know, as opposed to getting bad reviews and stuff like that. Right. Because that's definitely something you have to learn. It's not something you can just go in and be like, oh, I have a checklist and I did it all. It's like every space is different, every place is different, surroundings are different. Totally. That's great advice. Yeah. So I have to ask, what's next? Is this when you started and got going, did you have like a 5-year plan, or is this kind of, what's the dream? What's next? Well, the dream for me would be add more vintage vehicles and anything fun like that. Since we do have a vintage Bronco, we have the vintage boat, we have a vintage camper, so I love all that fun stuff. But I do have a book coming out next month called Midwest Modern Manifesto. Okay. And it's covering all of the Midwest and the designers that love mid-century modern. So
Cool. Is
yeah.
this something, when you did start, did you ever imagine that your work would be landing in all these, national and local publications and all these features?
I did not, no. No, like I said, it's very organic and homegrown, and yes, I mean, it's shocking to me. So I never thought that. So yeah,
cool.
I'm just doing what I love.
See, and what I've learned through talking to many people who do what they love is that when that happens, the rest will follow.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear more about the yurts you're doing as well.
Oh yes.
Which when I see them on Instagram at Great Lakes Modern.
They're so fun. So we are doing yurts for everything from baby showers to weddings to just fun dinner parties, and I will come in and decorate them all mid-century modern or like a rustic camp vibe or bohemian, whatever sort of look that you guys want, I can do. So it's super fun. It's a way for me to use my design skills and have other people enjoy it for the night. So it's fun.
And it's year round too. I had a friend who in the winter time, it was so fun. They had a birthday party outside with the girls and
it's super fun. You never, it's just like a fun idea to add to whatever sort of party you want to have. It's just kind of like a little extra fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
How would you describe the community in Harbor Springs? A lot of our interviews have been over near Traverse City, and we made our way to Elk Rapids and up to Northport. And as we continue to kind of expand out and touch on all the communities in northern Michigan. Especially since you've grown up here, how do you describe the community here?
Oh my gosh, we love it so much. It's such a wonderful, tight-knit community that, we know so many people, and we just welcome all the people that are visiting. We're so excited to have everybody come visit and check out Lake Michigan and our ski hills and everything. Is just a nice place all these places, all these towns up here are so beautiful.
They're all so unique too.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think makes northern Michigan unique? And
oh my gosh, I would say, like I said, I think the people up here are just so happy to be here and so thankful to be up here and to live in such a safe, family-oriented community. All of them, it seems like, and there's so much to do up here, whether it's skiing or hiking or biking. And it seems like that's really been promoted to be outdoors up here, and it's really great to see a lot more people come and visit. So
I always love to ask, on your travels, how do you describe the area when to someone who's never been here? Because it's like, I get it, and I'm like, but what do you say to someone who's maybe never been here? How do you describe?
I always try to explain how big the lake is, because I think a lot of people think that, I'm like, I can see across the lake or something, and, I'm like, it's kind of like an ocean, but, and I'll show people, pictures of the lake, and they're like, is that the Caribbean? Where are you? I'm like, this is Lake Michigan, and there's no salt, and it's beautiful, and it's, I think people don't get the gist of how gorgeous it is.
I always emphasize the turquoise blue water, crystal clear. You can see the sandy bottom.
Yes, it's so special.
What were some of the things that really made you want to make a life here? And is this home for good? Is this where this is it? Or in the wintertime, do you think, I got it, maybe?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, my family's here, and I grew up, having my great friends when I moved up here in high school. So I think that's like a huge draw, is your friends and family, and just knowing so many people around town.
Yeah.
There's not a better place that I would want to be, for sure. But in the winter, I'm thinking in the winter, maybe not even in the winter, in April when it's cold still, heading to Hawaii. I'll probably end up there in the winters because my other half of my family is in Hawaii, on Oahu. So that's another huge part that you'll see around here as well. Is there's a lot of Hawaiian stuff.
I noticed some like tiki, like the tiki.
I love tiki stuff.
Glassware.
Yes.
And we're drinking a tropical kombucha to try to lift our spirit.
Yeah.
This April. Okay, so that would be a great combo.
Yeah. So
Hawaii and Northern Michigan.
yeah, that's what we're thinking when my daughter's out of college or out of high school, I should say. So
Do you have any tips, just kind of to make it over this last final? It's like our second winter, basically, but during
third.
like, how do you know, when the snow's almost gone and the winter sports are gone, like, what do you find you and your daughter doing in April and May and
we're
just
starting
before
to,
it's, you know, time for boating and
yes, exactly. Lots of hiking. There's so much hiking around here between the two ski hills and just out of our back door. There's a North Country Trail. We do a lot of hiking and stuff like that. And then soon enough, there'll be mushrooms to go mushrooming, and the trillium will be out, and yeah, all the fun stuff. And we just need a little bit more warmth.
yes, that's right. We just got to get to foraging and then
Yes. Foraging season, trillium season. Soon it will be swimming and boating season.
Yes. So I don't want this drink to end.
Okay.
But we're going to play a quick rapid fire game.
Okay.
So just whatever comes to mind first. You don't have to overthink it. Okay. Our first question is, what is your favorite restaurant up here?
Favorite restaurant? I would say Legs Inn, probably. In Cross Village, 20 minutes north of here on the shore.
Love it. Favorite season?
Oh my gosh, how do you pick here? Not spring. I would say, oh gosh, summer.
Yeah.
I would say summer.
What do you
Even though
think?
I own a chalet.
Yeah, I know.
So come in the summer too.
What do you think is Northern Michigan's best kept secret?
Oh gosh. Once again, I'm like, I don't know if I want to give that out. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I was just gonna say, I'm like, should I say Good Heart because of where my mom's cabin is? It's a tiny little town, 15 minutes north of Harbor Springs, out on the shore. It's M119 is our scenic road.
Yep.
And so you leave Harbor, drive up M119, and it is the most beautiful overlook of the lake. The trees in the fall, the trillium in the spring. It's just a beautiful drive.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite outdoor activity?
I would say hiking, definitely, and swimming in Lake Michigan.
Go-to spot for a drink?
I would say the New York.
Oh, where's that?
It's downtown Harbor.
Oh, okay.
It's been there forever.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Mm-hmm. And if you could have a drink with anyone, who would it be?
Jerry Garcia.
Oh, love it.
I know. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. Cheers to you and Great Lakes Modern.
So nice to finally meet you.
So nice to meet you. Thanks for having us over.
Yes.
And I can't wait I got to get on that Chris Craft boat, have a yurt party, stay here.
Definitely.
So.
Yes, we'd love to have you.
So thank you again.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.